Yeah, we're good to go. Shabbat shalom to everyone. Again, wherever you are, depending on what location you are in the world, you may be starting your Pesach in a few hours, or you're probably already in it. But we'd like to thank you for joining us today. All praises be given to our Creator, the Creator of the heavens and the earth, and all that there is in Hallelujah. All right. So last week, everyone, we were talking about how the Most High has chosen to raise up his tabernacle in the first month of the second year. So we don't want to miss that. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'll go ahead and do this right quick. My video out. Get myself off the screen. All right. So today, what we're going to be discussing is this new part of the scroll. Yes? We're going to be discussing the new part of the scroll. Okay. The name of this part of the scroll that we have is called Wayikra. Okay. And basically, what Wayikra means is that, and he called. Okay. This is, and he, okay. And he called. Okay. That's what this means. Wayikra. Okay. Some of us know it as the book of Leviticus. What I find to be interesting about the beginning of this Torah portion is that the Most High has set up his tabernacle, and now he's about to let us know how an individual can actually approach him and why they can approach him. Okay. Um, this why right here, meaning and, lets us know something. Okay. It means that it's a continuation of what has already been previously spoken. Okay. The ye right here is he, okay, which is the yod, and then the kara right here is called. And there's many other definitions about called. Called could be proclaimed, called could be read, called could be recited. And so that's the theme that we're talking about today. Okay, we're going to find some very interesting things about this, but I want to share with you that this is not a separate book. Like they would say the five books of Moses. That's not really accurate. The truth of the matter is it was a continual scroll. And so the word and, or the letter Y, tells you that it means it's a continuation, it's a conjunction. That is a tent peg, okay, in the Hebrew language. Some people know it as a Vav, right? That's the European pronunciation. The Afro-Asiatic pronunciation is a Wa, okay? So the Wa is a tent peg, and it means to make a connection, okay? So this is what we're going to be doing. And of course, a lot of us have already know this, and that's fine. But I just want you to know that the scrolls are not disconnected. So they're not separate letters that someone wrote. Okay, it's a continuation. I want to bring that point out because the Most High is continuing to speak. And what is He calling out to? What is He saying? Right. So in our chapters, one is chapters 1 through 5, just to kind of bring this back around, is chapters 1 through 5. And 1 through 5 talks about these different offerings, but there was something I wanted to share with you about these offerings and the manner in which you bring it and what the Most High is really talking about in connection with our Haftarah, right? So we studied the Torah, we studied the Haftarah. The Haftarah pretty much makes the connection between the two storylines in order to give us more understanding. So the idea of remembering is a big part of this Torah portion. And so is a calling. There's a calling that's made to the children of Israel. Okay. And there's also, too, the idea of salvation that is found in the Torah and the Haftarah. So it's remembering the calling of salvation. That's what we're talking about today. Okay. I need to explain to you Hebraically what all this means. So we're going to go through that. Well, one of the things that we find is the Most High tells us that He wants us to remember some things. He tells us to keep these matters in mind. This is in chapter number 44 of your Haftarah, where the Most High begins to tell Israel about, some of the things that he has done for them, right? And so we often forget about what the Most High has done. Our understanding of the Torah and the Haftarah and the Psalms and the purpose of meditation is for us to start hearing the Most High and begin to develop a relationship with him, right? So he can bring things back to our understanding and bring it back to our minds. So he wants us to keep matters in mind. He doesn't want us to forget. The children of Israel have a problem and have had a problem about forgetting the Most High. He says, "For keep these matters in mind, Yaakov, for you, Yisrael, are my servant. I formed you, and you are my own servant, Israel. Don't forget me." So the Most High is speaking to us, and he's letting us know, yes, we may not be in service to the Most High at this point, but we are his servant. And there's some things about our role or who we are that he wants to reveal to us. And this is what he's saying. So, we might have our feelings a little hurt today, when we're going to hear some of the things that he has to say. He has some complaints that he's going to make against us. He has some encouragement that he's going to make to us. And this is what our Elohim does. So it's not just like, I'm mad at you all the time. It's not that I'm just going to keep correcting you all the time. What he's saying is, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to punish you for the things that you've done, right? So you can make it right. I want you to be right with me. I want things to be different. I want the relationship to be different than what it has been. Okay. So the idea behind our Torah portion about remembering has to do with this Hebrew word called sakar. Okay. Zakar. Okay. Sakar is dealing with the idea of remembering and having a reminder. Okay. So one of the things that he mentions in the Torah portion this week was the fact that he begins to talk about a burnt offering, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But we need to understand that he talks about two different types of individuals that approach him. The first one he begins to talk about is Adam. Okay. You have heard him called Adam, right? This is about Adam. Okay. So it says Adam ki Yakriv. What this basically means, and you could write this down, Adam ki Yakriv. What he's talking about is how a human being, he begins to say, I was puzzled, like, okay, he begins talking about a man or a human being that's going to approach him, someone who has, blood within them. Okay, so the Adam ki Yariv. The Yakriv is one who's drawing close to the Most High, the one who is approaching him to let them know what's going on the inside. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. Okay, so the Adam ki Yakriv is the one who the Most High is instructing if you want to bring me what they would call an Olah offering. Okay, you read your Torah portion, so you know that's in chapter number 1. That's a burnt offering. Okay, but the idea behind Adam in the Hebrew tells us about who he is, right? So Adam is not only has to do with his personhood, but it talks about what's inside of him. And what's inside of him, Adam, is the one who has red blood. Okay, that's what it is, Adam. Dam here is part of the word out of Adam, or here's as Dam. Adam, this right here is this aleph right here that talks about being strong. Okay. Or the strength. Okay. So what I'm looking for is the strength. Okay. And what makes you strong? What makes you strong is your blood. Everything is in your blood. Your life is in your blood. Okay. Or what they will call your soul is inside of your blood. Okay. So the person who's approaching me for this Olah to bring me an offering, there's going to have to be bloodshed. Okay. But what I'm looking for is the strength of it. Right. So I'm asking Adam, whoever it is, any human being that's going to approach me, they're going to have to bring life to me. They're going to have to bring the strength of themselves to me. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. And the reason why he's asking for the strength is because he's strong. That's the reason why he's asking for it. Okay. So the Adam who brings him the offering. So in your Torah portion, chapters 1 through 5, he's not always talking to Adam. He's addressing the blood of a man in chapters number 1. Okay. In chapters number 2, 3 through 5, he's talking about an individual soul. Okay. But here he's letting us know, I'm looking for the strength. I'm looking for the strength of a human being in order, and that's going to be found in the blood. This is the reason why he gives a substitution for the blood that's going to be shed on your behalf. Okay. In the Torah portion, you found that he mentions several different locations of where the blood of an animal is supposed to be sprinkled. One location is called the north. Okay. The reason why it's the north is simply because on the north side of the tabernacle, inside of the Most High's tabernacle, okay, we have what they would call the table of showbread. Okay. That bread is unleavened, meaning there is nothing added to it. The bread, and there's 12 loaves. Okay. There's 12 loaves. The 12 loaves represent the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. So when he's asking for them to sprinkle the blood to the north, he's doing it because he's remembering the children of Israel. He's remembering them. Okay. The 12 tribes of Israel. Everything has to do with this relationship between the Most High and Israel. Okay. So he's doing that for the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. The next question would be, what about the other location that you hear about, which deals with the east? There were some offerings that were made, and when you made it, he said, I want the priest to go ahead and sprinkle the blood to the east. Does anyone want to take a guess what's in the east of the tabernacle?
Would it be the ark?
It is. It is the ark. Okay. So when we're talking about the east, okay, we're talking about the ark of the covenant. Okay. We're talking about the ark of the covenant. What, and also it's in the east is the altar of incense. It's right before incense. It's right before Ark of the Covenant before you get to it. Okay. It's the east. Okay. So when he's asking to sprinkle this towards there, there's a purpose, there's a reason why. Okay. So one of the animals that he wanted to have their blood sprinkled was the dove. Okay. It was a turtle dove and it was the Yonah. It was the regular doves and the turtle doves. Okay. So when he's asking for this, he's letting us know that I'm gentle and I'm compassionate. Okay. We're going to get into why it was the dove and the turtle dove. Okay. It's because Yahweh is gentle and he's compassionate. That's the reason why it's on the east. Okay. The east also represents the future. Remember, we've been told, of course, there's a past, and then there's a present, and then of course there's a future. Okay. Past, present, and future. Everything happens in this timeline. Okay. It's time, right? So things are happening right now, things have happened in the past, and things are going to happen in the future. In the Hebraic mind, your past is your future. Your past is your future. Okay. Now, what does it mean? When one is to look towards the east, that's your future. This is one of the reasons why the Most High wants us to pray and face the east. It's not because he wants you to face the sun, to worship the sun. He tells you not to worship the sun. When you find that the Most High visits his tabernacle, he comes in from the east. That's where he comes from. In Ezekiel, he says that the gate to the east of the tabernacle, the Most High went through that gate. And that gate is to remain shut only until the prince begins to bring his offering and shares one with the Most High on Rosh Chodesh and on Shabbat. But here's the thing. What the Most High is talking about, when he talks about him being gentle and he's talking about him being compassionate, what he's talking about what he's going to do in the future. He's going to be gentle and he's going to be compassionate. It is his compassion and it's his gentleness that causes him to be able to bring the children of Israel back to himself. So these were reminders for the Most High, okay, about what he intends on doing. Because the Most High is past, present, and future. He is all time. Okay, he's timeless. He's the Ancient of Days. When you talk about the East, you're talking about the Ancient of Days. You're talking about the ancient ways. That's what you're talking about. And those are the ways in which the Most High has instructed us to remember. Okay, when we left our land, okay, we left from the East and they brought you over to the West. When you leave the East, you're going this way to the West. Okay. And you're thinking that that is your future. It's a very linear way of thinking. Okay. But the Most High is asking us to return. To return back to the Most High means to change your direction and go back to the East. Leave the West and go back to the East. Leave the Western mindset and go to the Eastern mindset. Okay? The Eastern mindset is the one of the ancient and one that has been from the beginning of time. Okay? Go back to your future. So if you and I, and then with that process is called to repent, is called to turn back. Okay? So turning back to the Most High, put your device on mute, is called shuv. Okay? Put your device on mute. Thank you. So shuv means to return. Okay? Shuv means to return. Let me I got somebody's, give me some feedback. See here. I'm going to meet you guys up right quick. Thank you. So shuv means to return. That's what the Most High is asking. He's asking for us to return back to him. Okay. And the only way we can literally do this is if you and I have a change of mind, a change of your mindset, a change of our behaviors. So it has to go back to the way that things used to be. And so that's what we're doing. We're returning back to the Most High. We're returning back to the East. We're praying towards the East. You're not praying towards the sun. You're praying towards the East. Okay. Towards your future. What we do now will determine what our future would be. Okay. Zakar means a memorial, right? It's a memorial. This is a big theme for the Most High. He uses his name to memorialize himself. So everything that he's done up to this point, he's done it so his name could be memorialized and so he could be memorialized, right? I want you to keep this in your mind as we continue through our study. So Zakar means to memorialize, to remember, to be reminded, to always think about, don't forget about the Most High. So he's given us different memorials. The memorial is connected to this idea of what they would call a male. This is a reason why in our Torah portion, all these animals that are to be sacrificed and brought to the Most High, to be brought near unto him, had to be a male. Some cases, it was an individual, was a female, okay? Which you read in chapter number 5 that talks about the individual who has done, something inadvertently. They'd have to bring a female lamb, okay? But primarily, all of these offerings have to do with a male, which is a male goat, a male lamb, a male ram, a male bull, right? And so the male is the way the Most High is dealing with the children of Israel. When we talk about remembering the male, he's not saying that he doesn't care about the female. He's saying, I'm remembering the strength. That's what he's remembering. He's remembering the strength. So when the Most High has decided to, go into Mitzrayim and to redeem for himself every male of both human and animals, right? He's talking about the strength of that in particular species. Okay. So he's looking for the strength. That's basically what a male is. So remembering, and Zakar means to remember, but it also means to have strength. Okay. The Most High wanted us to know something. He says, now listen, Yaakov, my servant, Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus says Yohe Wahe, who made you, formed you in the womb, and will help you. Don't be afraid. Yaakov, my servant, Yeshurun, whom I have chosen. In context, he's letting us know, as he has to Pharaoh and to everyone else, that Israel is my son. That is my firstborn son. Does it include the females? Yes, it does. Okay, so what he's talking about is he's my strength. He's my strength. He's the strength that I have on the face of this earth. I'm the one who brought you forth. I'm the one who formed you in the womb. I'm the one who will help you. I'm your strength. This is the reason why I don't want you to be afraid. The reason why he's telling Yaakov this, everyone, in chapter number 44 of your Haftarah is because the Most High is about to bring about a change in the world. And he's about to show himself and to bring everybody to remembrance about who he is. So he's asking or telling Yaakov, don't be afraid for what I'm about to do and what you're about to see. Because it has to do with his strength. That's what it has to. I asked myself, what is it that you and I can offer the Most High while we're in our exile? What is it? What can we offer him? And what I came to understand is that the Most High was asking for us to rely upon him and to be dependent upon him, right? Just like the bull had strength and the goat and the herds and the rams had strength, he's asking us to give him our strength. Give him the strength. The reason why he's asking for the first of everything is because that's the strongest part of everything. The reason why he's asking for the first of your flocks and the first of your herds and the first of your first fruits is because that's the strength. It's not just it's just not the items. There's a purpose behind everything. The Most High is using agriculture. He uses animals. He uses seasons. He uses everything to teach us. And what he's trying to teach us is, I need you to remember where your strength comes from. I need you to understand that if any work that you have done, right, and your strength of who you are has to be dedicated to me, has to be dedicated to the Most High. Yah is not looking for the worst part of us. He's not looking for the weakest of us. He's looking for the strength of us. He's looking for those who want to be strong. He's looking for the best part of our day. I don't want the worst part of your day. I want the best part of your day. I don't want the worst part of your attitude. I want the best part of your attitude. I don't want the worst part of your generosity. I want the best part of your generosity. Because when you and I are dealing with this king and we're dealing with this Elohim, this one who has created all things, his expectation is to find strength. That's what he's after. He's not after the weakest. He's after the strength. And you said, well, Akika, you just said he didn't choose us because you're the mightiest. No, he didn't choose us because we're the mightiest and because we're the most numerous. He's chosen us because we're the weakest, because he wants us to be made strong. You can't strengthen something that's already believing that it's strong. And that's Israel's problem. Israel has thought that they're strong without the Most High. They have a reliance and dependence on the things in which they have achieved and what they have done, and they don't even consider him anymore. He says, you don't even think about me. You don't even call upon me anymore, because now we're relying upon ourselves. Sakar means to remember, and that's what this is all about. Matter of fact, that's what this Pesach is about. It's about remembering the Most High. The descendants of Aharon and the Kohanim are to put fire on the altar. You read this, and to arrange wood on the fire. Some may ask, well, why is this important? We don't have an altar. We don't have a priesthood. We have none of this. Why are you bringing this up? How does this relate to my life, right? It relates to our life because the fire represents something, and so does the wood. Okay, we know what the altar represents. It means it's a medium for us to get close to the Most High, right? But we don't have that altar, so what does this mean for us? Well, if we're thinking in a religious term or we're thinking in a ritualistic term, then of course this wouldn't make any sense, right? We would try to go ahead and make an altar. We try to burn some wood and we try to put some fire on it. And we would attempt to bring an offering to the Most High, which would be an abomination to him. Okay. So the wood and the fire is what we're talking about. In your Hebrew, it said, Isha Reak Nakoak Daliyawa. Okay. What this is talking about, I wrote it down here for you so you can write this down. It's called Ishe. Okay. Ishe Reak Nakoak La Yawa. Okay. Basically, what this is talking about, everyone, is how there is a offering that's made to the Most High by what you would call fire. Okay. I got it highlighted here in red. That's called your Eshe. Okay. The Eshe or Ishe. The Ishe is the fire. Okay. Why is this? It's a pleasing aroma to Yahweh. That's what Ishe Reak Nakoak to Yahweh means. It's an aroma of pleasantness. Okay. The idea of rest, right? So every time they made an offering to the Most High was pleased. Was it because of the offering or was it because what the offering meant? Okay. And it was meant something, it was intended to mean something to the Most High. The Most High wasn't looking for us just to kill animals. He wasn't looking for them just to make sacrifices because they keep making all these mistakes and they just keep, slaughtering and killing and pouring their blood, sprinkling to the east, go find a dove or a turtle dove. And those are religious ideas. What he's talking about, everyone, is how the Most High sees us and how he sees our behavior and what manner that we live our lives and why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. Within that word Nakoak, okay, we have the word Noach, which is Noah. And he's talking about after the Most High receives an offering, it's like he gets this tranquilizing, this refreshing feeling about what has happened. Okay. And it's done by fire. So he's given us a clue that the only way that he can ever be pleased is when there's fire attached to something. Okay. And so that idea of fire is something we need to look at. The word Ishe in this in particular text is fire. Okay. One of the things that's interesting about this, okay, which I wanted to share with you. This is the way that it was conjugated, but Ishe, it really comes from the word Aish. Aish is fire. Okay. Same word right here. But it sounds like something else. It sounds like Ish. And Ish is a man. It sounds like here, Ishe. It sounds like Isha. What's an Isha?
A woman?
It's a woman. And a woman is a wife. So within our word, an Ish and a Isha, we have our word Aish. So we are connected to fire. Somebody tell me, what fire do you have biologically? What's the fire system in you? Where's your fire at?
Is it in the blood?
It's in your blood, but your blood is pumped by what?
Metabolism.
Yeah, okay, by your heart, right? A mechanical, right? So you got your heart. That's where your fire is at. That's where your fire in this case would be called like electric. It's electric current. Okay. Forgive the writing, it's not me, it's the internet. Electric current, which gives you your spark. And that spark is your life. That's what gives you your life, is your spark. Okay. So at any given time, the Most High can quench that fire. He can get rid of that spark. And then once that fire is not kindled anymore, right, you're no longer alive. That's how it works. So that's our connection to the Most High. So when he talks about this fire, right, he spoke to the children of Israel out of fire. Okay. And he said, I spoke to them in fire so that they would know that I am Elohim. Okay. So, and by the way, the altar fire was a fire that was lit by him. After they got inaugurated, the Most High lit this fire. And then they have a responsibility to bring wood continually. Okay. So what does the wood represent then, one may ask, right? In order for it to continue. If they don't have the wood, the fire goes out. Okay. Am I right? Yes? No?
Yeah.
In Hebrew, the word wood is called eitz. And eitz comes from a word called eitzah. And eitzah means counsel. Okay? So when the Most High is telling them to continue to bring this wood and he has this fire, which represents purity, he's talking about, I want you to have pure counsel. And the wood is for you to continue to do it, to bring it. Continue to bring this in order for that fire, in order for my counsel to happen, to continue. Got it? So this is what the Most High is asking. So if you and I are, if we have a fire, in order to keep that fire lit, you and I have to continue to bring wood to it. Wood, in our sense, will be called fuel. We have to fuel the fire, okay, in order to keep it lit. So we have a responsibility in order to keep this fire going, not only biologically in your body, but spiritually, talking about the eitzah of Yahweh, which is the counsel. When you and I want to continue to receive counsel from the Most High, you got to stay lit. And I ain't talking about getting lit on the weekend. I'm talking about staying lit with fuel. You got to put something in. The idea behind this is you have to give something in order to get something. This is not going to happen on its own. You have to make a contribution. And you have to have something made up in your mind that you're going to continue to have this fire going. Just like Jeremiah said, I got like a fire shut up in my bones. Okay. I want to deal a little bit with sacrifices right quick. Sacrifices and grain offerings you did not want, or you don't want. Burnt offerings and sin offerings you don't. So then I said, here I am, I'm coming. In the scroll of the book, it is written about me. This is from King Dawid. He wrote this. The question is this a contradiction to what the Most High did ask for? It's because we don't properly understand how this is being spoken. Okay. When it talks about sacrificing grain offerings you don't want, when clearly the Most High said, if you decide to bring, okay? What Dawid is trying to let us know is something that the Most High is not demanding anything from you that you don't want to give. If you don't want to bring an olah to the Most High, a burnt offering, that was a voluntary offering. In chapter number 1, that's all voluntary. Chapter number 2, the mincha, that was a voluntary offering. Chapter number 3, the shalomim, that was a voluntary offering. Okay, those are voluntary, right? The sin offerings, those were not voluntary, they were required. And the reason why they were required, because someone made a mistake, okay? Not because they intentionally decided, I'm going to go against the Most High, break his laws, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring this little lamb to him, or I'm a leader and I'm going to continue to go against any one of the commandments of the Most High so I can make, I can easily get this covered. It wasn't like that. What Dawid is explaining here is that there's something deeper. There's something deeper that the Most High wants to do, okay? That something deeper is that the Most High wanted Dawid to open up his ears, okay? Which I don't think it's right in here, but it's talking about that you don't want this, but you have opened up my ears. That's what the Most High, if you read this in chapter number 40, verse number 7, unfortunately, I don't see why it's not here, but it's not here. You open my ears. You opened my ears. You wanted me to listen to you. That's the purpose of the sacrifices and the offerings. They're there to teach the children of Israel, okay? It's not that the offerings won't be made. They are there, but you have to understand why they're there. So let's go over what these offerings are so we can get a clear understanding. Is an ox strong or is it weak? An ox is strong.
Yeah.
Right? So the Most High wants the strength, as we talked about. right? The oxen was only given for, not for an individual. The oxen was given for who? When the Most High wanted a burnt offering from an oxen, who did he ask it from? Do you remember your Torah portion? It had to be for the priest when he made a mistake. It had to be for the nation as a whole if they made a mistake. Period. That's it. Okay? He wanted either from your herds or he wanted from your flocks. Why does he want it from the flock? What does he want? Remember, the Most High asked for the kidneys. So what he's asking for is the eternal. So I'm asking for that which is inside. So in order to draw near to the Most High, one had to come with the kidneys, which means your emotions. I want the deepest part of you. I want you to have everything that bothers you, right? And everything that you're giving has to be all of you. What Yah is looking for, everyone, is authenticity. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for sincerity. He's looking, if you bring something to me, I want it to be wholehearted. I don't want it to be just because. I want it because you love me and because you want an alliance with me. You know that I brought peace to you. You know that I'm your strength. So this is the reason for the kidneys. The reason for the liver, because he's talking about life and vitality. So every time they would take the liver out, hey, if you're real religious or you're ritualistic, you just think I'm just going to give them the liver, not even taking time to think about what it really means. The liver is vitality, it's life. It's the heaviest organ that you have. I want that. I want the strength of you. I want the weight of you, right? This is what he's talking about. The fat. Why does he want the fat? And he says no one can ever eat any fat, and all the fat belongs to the Most High. What he's talking about is the fat insulated the body of the offerings, right? And the body was, or the organs were relying upon that fat. Otherwise, they would get diseased or bruised or injured or damaged real easily, right? Fat also talks about the increase. So the Most High is saying, listen, when you come to me and you bring this fat to me, you're saying something. You're saying you're relying upon me and you're not relying upon yourself. You're not relying upon your own wealth. You don't have any false loyalty to me. You don't have misplaced trust, meaning like you trust everyone else, you trust your bank account, or you trust how much land you have, or you trust how many, how much gold and silver you have, or you trust how many servants you own, or you trust in all that. You're trusting your 401k program, you're trusting your real estate holdings, you're trusting, your friends, you're trusting your family. He's really looking for our loyalty to him and our reliance upon him. That's why, okay? This is the reason why the Most High said if an individual among the people commits a sin inadvertently, doing something against any of the mitzvot of Yahweh, concerning the things which should not be done, he is guilty. Okay? That guilty right there is called a sham. Okay? And it's easy to remember because it's called a sham, which you can mean a shame. Some people say shame, right? A shame. It's a sham. So a sham offering means that you're guilty. Okay? It means that you did something that you were unaware of. Now, you got to ask yourself the question, have you and I done anything that we have done and we don't even know it? That was a big part of your Torah portion. He said they don't know it, but I'm going to bring it to their attention. So when he talks about bringing it to our attention, what he's talking about for you and I to have a feeling about something. Do you have any feelings about what you've done? Have you been sitting about like a couple of days after you did something, you start thinking about it? That's not arbitrary. That's not an accident. What he's talking about is I'm trying to bring something to your attention. Because if I bring something to your attention, it's going to come through what you're feeling. What's coming through your feeling is going to come through your thoughts. So the thoughts that you have are telling me how you feel. And how you feel determines whether you're guilty or you're not. Okay? So don't ignore these things. Don't ignore the thoughts and don't ignore the feelings. You have to take accountability for them because the Most High often tries to talk to us through our thoughts and our feelings. about something. Now, the question is what do you do when you find that you've done something on an accident? All because you did it on an accident doesn't mean that you don't have to pay. The Most High said, if you went against any of the commandments of me, then you're guilty, whether you knew about it or not. Well, I was a Christian, I didn't know. Does that mean that you're not guilty? No. Lo, you're guilty. You're guilty. I'm guilty. We're guilty. Okay. But if we get prideful and we get arrogant, we would think that we have nothing to be ashamed of, and we're doing everything right that the Most High said. We return to the Torah. There's no problems, a clean slate, because those are the Christian narratives that you and I have gotten. That all you and I need to do is say a couple of words and then we're free from it. The Most High is really trying to tap in to how you and I feel. This is what this is about. Because when you draw near to Most High, you got to come with your feelings, your emotions. I want you to know that I'm in tune with you. Our emotions are divinely connected. They're connected. They're on a whole nother realm. This is something we haven't been told. So we're thinking, well, we're just feeling it this way and there's no accountability. I feel that I can wash it away, and I actually can ignore how I'm feeling. I can ignore it when I have a guilty feeling. I can ignore it because I don't have an offering to the Most High. So I can just ignore this. And he forgave me anyway, either through the blood of Christ of the New Testament, or he just forgives me because he knows that I'm in exile, so I can do what I want to do. And that's not the case. So what we're seeing here is that we do make mistakes. We see that. So the Most High knows his people. He's saying that anyone, a person, okay? More specifically, when he talks about individual, he's talking about your nephesh, talking about a soul. This is your soul who has committed a sin against me on an accident. Okay? So we got the word individual. We're just thinking, physically. No, he's talking about your soul. That's what he's talking about. The real you. Okay? The one that no one can see. Okay? So people can't see your feelings. They can't see your thoughts. Only you know that. Okay? So the Most High is letting us know that I understand that you're going to make a mistake. The mistake here, everyone, just to be very clear about this, I said it before, is called a shigaga. Okay? A shigaga is a going off of the path. A shigaga. Shigaga or shigaga. It is, yes, Claudia.
But relatively, can you give us an example of a mistake or an accident scene?
Yeah,
If you could,
yeah. So thank you for that. So here's the example. When we're talking about a shigaga, right? The Most High says that let me just draw it right here. Okay, so what we have here is a path. Okay, this is a pathway. Come on, pen, act right. This is a pathway. Okay, it's a direction. That's what we have right here. Okay, the shigaga is the individual that goes outside of the path. Okay, they veer off the path. Okay, so for example, what we're doing right now, right? Say, let's just put it in its proper context. Say Pesach or Chag Matzot, which is today, and Chag Matzot is tomorrow, depending where you are. Say you forget to go and search for the chametz in your freezer. You forgot. Okay. In regards to the command of the Most High said for you to remove all the chametz from your house and the seor. Okay. But you forgot. You checked everything you thought you did, but you didn't. Right. In regards to the commandments of the Most High. That's a Shagaga. So the path that he said that you need to stay on, you actually forgot, or you went off of the path. You didn't follow the instruction the way that it's supposed to. Okay. Say, for example, you're under the idea about the Sabbath starting at night. And you've been keeping the Sabbath because you believed and someone told you that it starts in the evening. And then you find out that no, the day starts and when the sun rises, right? Then that's a Shagaga. Was it intentional? No, you had the best intent to do what's right, but you failed to meet that. So all of the commandments of the Most High, or here's another thing. You're going out to go eat dinner. Okay. You ask for some type of, salad, right? And, they give it to you. You didn't check the dressing, but you found out that they had shredded up the bacon and put it inside the dressing. You didn't know it. Okay. That's a Shagaga. Okay. Or you got a pack of sauce that you put on your meat, and all of a sudden you find out, you look at that sauce, and they didn't have on their pork, but they had another ingredient that contained pork, and then you ate it and you didn't know it and you found out. That's a Shagaga. Yes.
So, I mean, I'm so sorry to be disturbing
No, you're
the
not.
class. Because I was doing the study on this and I got totally, my head just started spinning, right? So, because now the examples, that's why I really wanted to ask you about that. Now, the examples I'm getting is the examples that I'm getting where the Most High would have given us, or judgments. So that is where I was thinking that the judgments would come in, because automatically, as soon if we forget it, it would have been our own fault. So we just pay the penalty for the judgment.
Yeah.
So that's how I was looking at it. And again, because at that time that he was teaching them this, in my own studies, they're actually going into the land, like it is, so that they're going into the land and they're supposed to be taught all these commands and laws. So that's where I started, just my mind was just spinning around, because I just couldn't put where why are we given a sacrifice for like a forgotten sin, whereas we are given judgments for the sin at the same time.
Mhm.
It is telling me that the Creator is taking us into a land knowing that we are going to sin.
Yes.
So he's giving us the judgments already for the sins, and again a sin offering. And this was the same reason that it is said that Moses didn't go into the land, because he broke a command, he sinned. So I was just spinning and I just had to comment on that. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. So, very good point. So the Most High knows that we're going to be guilty. He knows that we are guilty. He says that you guys are in the lands of your enemies and you are profaning my name. Either that's true or it's not. So what he's talking about here is to bring to our attention about that there are things that you're doing that you're totally unaware of. There's manners in how we speak and how we respond that is against the commands of the Most High, because as the sister pointed out, haven't been taught properly. This is the reason why the Most High wants to bring us back to the land, and this is the reason why he has to cleanse us in the wilderness, in order to cleanse us, to give us his spirit so you and I can walk perfectly inside of the Torah. We don't have that understanding. The point that I'm trying to bring out here is that the Most High is letting us know that individuals, the souls, do things that are by mistake. That's what he's bringing out, right? And he's letting us know that you're guilty. That's what he's saying, that you are guilty. Well, you sent me here, so am I going to be guilty? Yeah, you're guilty. Why are you guilty? Because this is what you chose. Okay. I want to bring out the turtle doves. The turtle doves, we're talking about the gentleness. Okay. Now, I have had a big problem. I've had a big, huge problem with this. Okay. And what I mean by this, I told you that the Most High wanted that blood of the turtle dove or the Yonah to be sprinkled and drained out, excuse me, squeezed out in the east side of the altar, which talks about Yah's gentleness. Okay, because that's where the ark is, and that's where the incense is. That's where the communion with the Most High is. So what we've done is, as a people, we have been going around and we haven't been like the Most High. We haven't been like him, right? Meaning, and I will speak for myself, I can't say we, I'm just generalizing there, but we need to show more of the gentleness of the Most High. The Most High is very kind and he's very gentle. Okay. The turtle doves and the other, the yonas, which they call the doves, are the ones who are dealing with the poor in your Torah portion. So the Most High is so gentle and he's so kind that he understands where poor people are, that they can't afford it. But what he's talking about is if you didn't have the means to make the other offerings to the Most High, when you would go against any of the commands that he said, he's saying, look, go get a turtle dove, right? And either you could go buy that or you had to go catch it. Okay. That's what you had to do. Go buy it or catch it. So what that means is that you have to put forth an effort. Even the poor have to make an effort to maintain a relationship with the Most High. That's what he's telling us. All because you're rich or you have a bull or a ram, or, you could do the Olah or the Shalomim, right? Does that mean that other people can't come to the Most High? No. What he's saying is even the poor has to make an effort. We have to make an effort. So at this in particular time, you and I don't have any bulls, goats, or turtle doves. But does this mean that the Most High is not gentle? No, he's letting us know through this teaching that I'm gentle. I'm gentle to the poor. It's not always about Yah's judgment. It's about how Yah sees things and how he wants us to know his character. So he brings us to understand the turtle doves and the doves and all these things in order so we can understand who he is. Okay. So that's what that is. The doves themselves represent purity and peace. And this is another reason why he asked for the doves, because he's talking about the purity of one. So the poor, when they were bringing it to the Most High, one was going to be for a burnt offering, and the other one is going to be for what they would call a sin offering. Okay. Now let's get to the flying flower. Okay. Somebody tell me, why do you think the flower had to be fine? Any ideas? Why would the Most High want fine flour?
Because it's the most valuable flour?
It is the most valuable flour. It was a key component to what the Most High wanted.
It's
It
pure.
takes effort.
It's pure. Thank you. Thank you. It takes effort. And when they went through the effort, they went through the idea of purifying it. Going back to the dove, going back to the turtle doves, going back to taking out the organs, it had to be purified. And they had to make an effort. They had to put forth an effort. That's what he's talking about. It had to be purified, and it took effort. And guess what? When you're beating out the fine flour, that means that you had to be devoted to that. And you're devoted to giving that which you had put effort into. That's what the Most High is asking for. He's asking for us to make an effort to what? To understand that when you come to him, everything had to be pure. He's letting you know there's nothing wrong with pure olive oil. There's nothing wrong with pure gold. There's nothing wrong with fine, pure flour. There's nothing wrong with a pure bird. There's nothing wrong with the purity, this absence of sickness and illness. When these offerings, he doesn't even go and talk about how these offerings shouldn't have this, and that, and the other. He's saying this is if anybody wants to bring anything to me, understand the purpose behind bringing it. There's nothing wrong with living a purified life. There's nothing wrong accepting a higher level of Yahweh's person. And knowing when you approach him, you cannot approach him with something that's not pure. You and I cannot approach him with a nasty attitude. We can't hide our emotions from him. I mean, come on. What is this relationship about? You see? So he's giving us examples of what he's looking for. So I don't have any flying flour. Yes, you do. You think it's the flour? You really think it's the bull that Yah wants? You think it's the lamb that he really wants? You think it's the shade? He don't have any oil, so he got to press you out to get, purified oil. He can't get any fine flour except from you. He made it. And he's sending us through the process. He's teaching us through the flour. He's teaching us through the catching of the doves. He's teaching us through the poor. He's teaching us through the offerings. He's teaching us through the fire, the council. He's teaching us through having to get the wood to make effort to serve the Most High. He tells us, I'm not rebuking you for your sacrifices. Your burnt offerings are always before me. I have no need for a bull from your farm or a male goat from your pens. All the forest creatures are mine already. I don't need you to bring me a dove. I have them. As are all the animals on 1,000 hills. They're mine. I know all the birds. What birds? Yeah, all of them. Whatever moves in the fields is mine. I'm giving to you for you to give back to me, but I'm using it to teach you how to approach me. I gave you the dove to show you that I am gentle to you that are poor. I know that you're going to make a mistake because generally, sometimes the poor made a mistake and that's how they became poor. They made bad decisions. Y'all knows that. Was it on purpose? Did I decide to become poor? No, it happened because you made some bad decisions. If you're poor today, it's because somebody made some bad decisions. And either that is in your work or in your family or maybe one of our ancestors lost all the wealth. My grandfather made a bad decision. His brother asked him and begged him to stay in Texas because he owned an air conditioner company in the hottest place in the earth. And he didn't want to stay. Bad decision. That other uncle became so wealthy, the man used to pick up my grandmother and aunt and them and take them to France. Just, hey, let's go take a flight out to France. Not a problem. Super wealthy. You understand? And that family business today is still in Houston, Texas. Still today. Family, generation. So some people are going to make mistakes. Some people are going to go on the wrong path. Some people are going to make a shagaga. Okay. They're going to leave the path. Okay. Whatever path that may be, that's supposed to be right. Okay. So the Most High is telling us that, look, I'm not giving you a hard time about your sacrifices. Like the Christians like to tell you, he doesn't want the sacrifice. Yeah, he says, I'm not giving you a hard time about it. They're always before me. I thought you said you didn't like them. I thought David said you didn't like them. He said the manner in which they were given. Yah wants us to open our ears. I don't want you to just do mundane things. I don't want you just to read the Torah just so you can think that you know me. This doesn't work like that. This is always before me. I don't need anything from you. If I gave it to you, I gave it to you. I'm the one who gives it to you. I'm the one who gives the animals, and I'm the one who gives the land. I'm the one who gives the hills. I give it all. So what are you really giving to me? What Yahweh's looking for, everyone, is what's on the inside. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for what's on the inside of us. Your internals, what's inside of you. That is the hardest thing to want to give up. That's the hardest thing to put into the trust of Elohim, is what's on the inside. We give him these exteriors. We give him the outworkings of what we do. When they would bring the first fruits to the Most High, we're thinking, well, they did the work with their hands, and so clearly he'll accept it because it's the first of that. No, it's the one that they took more joy in because that was something they worked with their hands. And often people are very selfish. They don't want to give up the best. But they keep forgetting it's the Most High that gave them the strength to do it. It's the Most High who gave them the land to have the first fruit. It's the Most High that gave them not only the strength to physically do it, but the strength of the land in the land itself to be able to provide the strongest. Yah's looking for the inside. That's what this whole ideal about an offering is. Okay, so this is what you and I need to understand. He's looking for the inside of us, our eternals. Okay, let's deal with Pesach right quick. For that night I will pass through the land of Egypt and kill all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both men and animals. I will execute judgment against all the gods of Egypt. I am Yahweh. That's what he wants you to remember. That's what he wants you to remember. That I'm going to do this. I'm going to unalive the firstborn in the land of both humans and animals. I'm going to do this. Right? And I'm also going to destroy their gods. So tonight, or wherever you are, and you're celebrating Pesach, he's telling us, I need you to remember what I did for you. Okay? He says, the blood will serve as a sign, marking the houses where you are. When I see the blood, I will pass over. Hebrew Pesach. You, when I strike the land of Egypt, the death blow will not strike you. So tonight, or today, depending on where you are, when you're doing the Pesach tonight, I want you to understand the Most High is letting us know, I decided not to strike you. I decided not to destroy the first of your family. I decided not to strike the strength of your family. The firstborn males is the strength of everything. Period. Okay? So I decided not to destroy your strength. So if he destroys the strength of every household in Egypt, what he literally did is destroy the strength of that nation. Everyone born out from there has become weak. You pass strength to strength. You pass the strength on to the next generation. So if God destroys the first, he destroys the strength. If he destroys the strength, anything other than that will not be accepted. So look what he's done. Only reason why Yah is accepting us is because he redeemed the firstborn. If we would have had the death blow, we would be weak and we wouldn't be strong enough to be acceptable to the Most High Yah. That's what Pesach is about. Kagmatzo. I want to make something clear about Kagmatzo. We've been told, well, you got to get rid of the leaven out of your house. Get rid of it even before Pesach. I found an error in that. On the first day of Chag Matzot, which is the day after Pesach, that is the day that you're going to remove all the leaven from your house. Reason being is because that's the day that you went out of the house of bondage. When you take the leaven out of your house on Chag Matzot, the day after the Pesach, that morning, the Most High is using that to demonstrate to us that we left out of a house of bondage. You take out the cruelty out of your house. You take out the harshness. You take out the oppression. You take it all out of your house on the first day of Chag Matzot. Don't be all, well, I'm worried about it. I can't get it all. I got to get out before Pesach. No. Let it stay in the house until the following morning. Your focus on Pesach is Pesach. Let's not mix these two things up. You understand? Chag Matzot is for you to remove the leaven and the seor, the agents that are causing the swelling and the inflammation and the anger and the frustration and the cruelty of bondage. You take that out the following day. And when you're doing it, you do it with your children. And they ask you, why are we doing this? You tell them, because the Most High brought us out on this day. He removed us from the place of cruelty out of the house of bondage. And we're going to remove this from our house because this represents bondage. 7 days you're to eat matzah. Praise be to the living Elohim on the first day. Not on Pesach. On the first day, remove the leaven from your houses. Not the night of Pesach where you're supposed to be focused and remembering what Yah has done for you. For whoever eats kametz, leavened bread, from the first until the 7th day is to be cut off from Israel. Moreover, it will serve as a sign on your hand and as a reminder between your eyes
that Yahweh's Torah may be on your lips, because with a strong hand, Yahweh brought you out of Mizraim. He wants us to remember this. When he says between your eyes, that means it's when your third eye, you're always thinking about this. You're seeing what Yahweh has said. It's on your lips. When you're talking to your children, you're instructing them to Yahweh's Torah as his instructions. That's what needs to be coming off our lips on the first day, and let our families and everybody know it's because this is a sign. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Why, Akika? Why is it a sign? Why is it an oath on our hands? Why did the Most High say put the aleph, a wa, and a tav? Why? Because this is the strength of the mark. That's what a sign is. That's what it is. It's the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it's the last. Yahweh is the first, and Yahweh is the last. And he's telling you and I that this is your reminder of what I have done for you, what I intend on doing for you again. These are not signs that you're supposed to just attach to your forehead and walk around with a box on the side of your head or something on your hand. You're not supposed to tape nothing to your lips. If it's coming off of your lips, it means it came from your mind. If it's talking about the Torah, that means you have read the Torah. You read Shemot 13. That means that you kadra. That's what read means. Wayikra kara. You have kara. You have read the Torah. You have proclaimed with your mouth that this is what Yahweh has done. And why did he want Israel to tell this from generation to generation forever? Why? Because he's going to do it again. You are to remember. You are to zakar. You are to be reminded. You are to memorialize everything of the way in which Yahweh led you these 40 years in the desert, humbling and testing you in order to know what was in your heart, in your mind, whether you would obey his commandments or not. Remember, don't forget Yisrael. He humbled you, allowing you to become hungry. He fed you with man, which is manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had ever known. That's that unleavened heavenly bread that you have never known, to make you understand that Adam does not live on food or bread alone, but on everything that comes out of the mouth of Yahweh. Every command that comes out of the mouth of Yahweh. So when he tells you to remove that loaf of bread, or he tells you to throw away that box of Cheerios, or he tells you to remember to get the flatbread out of your house and get rid of the tortillas, you don't start asking, well, how am I supposed to live? Maybe we need to become hungry in order to remember what Yahweh has done. Yahweh put a hole in our stomach in order to bring to our attention that you think that you're going to live on the food that you brought from the grocery store. And I'm telling you that that's not who I am. You're going to live off of every word that came out of Yahweh's mouth. Not what you buy, not what you think, not what you want, not what you desire, but by everything that comes out of Yahweh's mouth. I want you to remember that. He tells us, be careful not to forget Yahweh, your power, by not obeying his mitzvot, his regulations, and his rulings that I'm giving you today. Moshe kept saying it over and over and over and over again. Don't forget this. Don't forget the 40 years. Don't forget the manna. Don't forget the Pesach. Don't forget matzah. Don't forget nothing that I'm telling you. Why? Because if you forget, you're going to miss the Most High. You're going to miss the Most High. You're going to miss what Yahweh is saying. You're going to miss what Yahweh has proclaimed. You're going to miss when Yahweh has spoken. You don't want to miss out on those words. Part of your word or your Torah portion, Vayikra, comes from the word kara. Kara basically means to call out. I want you to hear what the Most High has called out. I want you to hear what the Most High has said. Now, you and I would think that the Most High just says it and that's it. Do you not know when the king speaks that there's someone there writing down what he says? In the scrolls. So what you and I are reading right now is not only in the scrolls that are written so you and I can understand it, but it's written in the heavens. Anytime you see Yahweh says, it's being written down. He who is creating you. I'm not done with you. Yah says, I'm creating you. I'm filling you what you need. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. I'm filling you like I created the heavens and the earth. I filled them with the sun, the moon, and the stars. I filled the earth with all its vegetation and its rivers and its mountains and its streams and its fruits and its vegetables and its trees and its insects and its animals. I'm filling you. Yaakov, he who is forming you. I'm not done with you. I'm forming you. I'm shaping your life the way that it needs to be shaped. I sent you into exile so you can be shaped. So I can mold you and I can shape you and I can form you the way that I want you. Israel, don't be afraid. I have redeemed you. Not I'm going to, I already have. I redeemed you at Pesach. I redeemed you from a life of slavery. I redeemed you from oppression. I redeemed you from cruelty. I redeemed you from hatred. I redeemed you from poverty. I redeemed you. I've given you hope and I've given you expectation. I'm calling you by your name. You are mine. You are mine. So don't be afraid about the changes that you're seeing. Don't be afraid about what's going to happen. Don't be afraid of your future. Yahweh has proclaimed. That's what Kara is. Because I regard you as valued and honored. This is the Most High speaking to you and I. Because I regard you as valued and honored, because I love you. For you, I will give people, nations, in exchange for your life. Don't you know that the Most High unalived the firstborn of all the children of Mizraim, including their animals, to let us live in exchange for our lives? Strength for strength. There has to be an exchange. So when he talks about I redeemed you, he's not saying that I need to redeem you again. Doesn't mean that some hippie on a stick is going to come and redeem you when you've already been redeemed. You've already been paid for by Yah. He said, when you went through the water, I was with you. When you went through the streams, I rolled back rivers for you. I opened up the Red Sea for you. I unalived Pharaoh and his army. I quenched their fire. I put their flame out so you can have a flame. I will give people and nations in exchange for your life. Because I regard you valued and honored. And because I love you. Yahweh has not said this to any other people. He has not demonstrated his power for no other people. All the nations are gathered together and all the peoples are assembled. Who among them can proclaim this and reveal what happened in the past? Oh, praise be to Yahweh. Who Who can tell us what happened in the past? Who has a memory or a reminder or a memorial? Let them bring their witnesses to justify themselves so that others on here can say, that's true. They don't have any witnesses. They have no one to justify them. They have no relationship with the Most High on the level that the children of Israel has. It doesn't care how many people come before him. The only people that are going to ever be accepted by Yah is the children of Israel. That's it. And what is he talking about in context? What does he want them talking about? Well, once you bring forth your witnesses, bring your witnesses. Let them gather. Like today, he says that, hey, gather yourselves. You're gathering. That's called a mikra. A mikra. Okay. So what is a mikra? Excuse me. What's a mikra? The first part of this is me, which is who? The second part is kara, which is to proclaim. Who is proclaiming what I said? Who's proclaiming Pesach? You. That's who. Who's proclaiming Chag Matzot? You. That's who. Who's speaking the words of Yahweh from the Torah from their lips? You. That's who. That's the reason why you and I are supposed to get together to make a mikra today, to proclaim Yahweh's festival today, to proclaim the Pesach, to proclaim Chag Matzot, to proclaim the goodness and the mercy of Yahweh. Why? Because you and I are his witnesses. That's why. You and I are his witnesses. We're the ones who's supposed to proclaim this. But listen, you deaf, and look, you blind, so that you will see who is as blind as my servant, or deaf as the messenger I send. Who is as blind as the one I rewarded, as blind as the servant of Yahweh? You got to ask yourself a question. Has the Most High chosen a servant as deaf and blind? Can the deaf and the blind approach the Most High? Would he accept the deaf and the blind of an animal? Would he accept the deaf and the blind of the Levite, or the deaf and the blind of the Kohanim? Who is the servant of Yahweh that is deaf and that is blind? And what is he talking about? The Most High said, I've given them ears, they can't hear. I've given them eyes, they can't see. But they're still Yahweh's servant. What is he talking about? The Most High is telling us that, guess what? You haven't seen nothing and you ain't heard nothing yet. You haven't seen it and you haven't heard it. You think that you've seen it and you think that you heard it. You don't know yet. You do not know, but you're gonna know. Bring forward the people who are blind but have eyes, and also the deaf who have ears. Bring them forward. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. This was written down, people, in the scrolls. So when he's talking about this is not written so you and I can go, oh, well, you know, he's going to do this. No, it's written. And if it's written, it means he's going to bring it forward. If it's written, it means it's going to be proclaimed. So when he's talking about why Yikra, he said, and he called, that means, and he proclaimed. And he's going to proclaim again. And he's proclaiming right now, bring forward the people who have blind eyes, who are blind but have eyes, and deaf who have ears. How is that possible? One of the sisters asked me one time, a couple of times, hey, how do you keep saying that we're the people? How do you know that we used to be here? How do you know this? Because Yahweh's blinded us. Yahweh has caused us to be deaf. Yahweh has caused us to be blind because he doesn't want you to see and he doesn't want you to hear nothing yet. But you're going to. The reason why he's asking them to gather them so he can proclaim to them, because now he wants to open them up and he wants to tell them prophetically what he's going to do. Yahweh says this. You are my witnesses, says Yahweh. You are the ones who have heard the Most High speak. You are the ones who have seen the fire, the Aish on top of the mountain. You have only heard a voice coming out of that fire, and there is no one else. And my servant whom I have chosen, so that you can know and trust me and understand that I am he. No God was produced before me, and nor will be any after me. That's why. You're the ones. You're the ones who saw the Most High. You're the ones that the Most High has spoken to. You're the ones who's supposed to testify that there is nobody else except for him. Because when he showed up on the mountain, we did not see any form of a man, which is a car, or a nekeva, which is a female. We did not see any image of anything in the heavens, and we did not see any image of anything in the earth, and we did not see anything that's underneath the earth or in the sea. We saw nothing. All we heard was a voice, and we saw the fire of Yahweh. There is nobody after Yah. Yes, I am Yahweh. And besides me, there is no Mashiach. There is no Savior. I put in there in brackets, hey, no one's saving you, because that's what Moshiach means. It means actively right now. There is no one who is actively trying to help you and I to save us. There is no one actively going to the nations to try to remove you from your oppression. There is no one actively trying to help you get out from under the burdens of the nations. There's no one who's trying to bring you back to your own land, the Most High promised to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No one. And the Most High said, I have declared, I proclaimed, I kadra, I have made a statement, I've read it, I saved, and I proclaim, and not some alien God among you. There is no other God on the face of this earth. There is no other Mashiach. There is no one else, people. Therefore, you are my witnesses, says Yahweh. I am El. I am the strength. I am the one who, the strong guider. I am the shepherd who guides my people. I am your counselor. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. There is no Mashiach. There is no salvation. There is no Yasha. That's what salvation means, Yasha. There's no deliverance. There's no rescue package. There's no relief from your distress and your oppression. There's none of that. Here's what Yahweh says. This is what Yahweh says, people, a curse on the person who trusts in humans, who relies on merely human strength, whose heart turns away from Yahweh, whose mind turns away from Yahweh, whose inner authority turns away from Yahweh. Yahweh's trying to turn us towards Yahweh. That turning there in the Hebrew is talking about one who has become a ruler to you. The word is called a sar in Hebrew. S-A-R. Sar. This first letter right here, that means to turn. Here, right here is the resh, which is the head. So it's the one who turns the head. You turn the head, the one who's to turn the hair is a sarah. Like your mother, Sarah, or a sar, which is a ruler. So whoever is ruling you is the one who's turning you away from Yahweh. And the one who's going to try to turn you away from Yahweh is the one who is a human being. Because human beings don't have the strength to turn you back to Yah. They don't. They don't have the strength. You waited for a rabbi, you waited for a pastor, you waited for a friend. None of us can turn anybody back to the Most High. The Most High is the one who's doing the turning. Because the Most High is the ruler. Human beings, if you let them become your rulers and you put your trust in them and you rely upon them, and now you're relying upon their strength, you're relying upon their wealth, their strength is not found in their physical strength, people. He's talking about their mental strength. He's talking about their economic strength. He's talking about their military strength. He's talking about their strength. Don't put your trust in your government. Don't put your trust in human beings. Don't put your trust in religious leaders. Don't put your trust in a human being. Because a human being will fail you every single time. For I am with you to save you, says Yahweh. I will finish off all the nations where I have scattered you. However, you I will not finish off. but discipline you only as you deserve. I will not completely destroy you. This is the Most High telling us. Your only salvation is going to come from Yahweh. Yah is going to destroy the nations. But he said, I'm going to discipline you only as you deserve. I will not completely destroy you, which tells us that some of us, some of our nation will be destroyed, but not completely. And the ones who are going to be destroyed are the ones who turned away from the Most High. Those are the ones who are going to be destroyed because they failed to remember. One of the things that I've been pressing us to understand is that the Most High is eternal. And you, whether you want to accept this or not, you're eternal. You don't need eternal life when you're already an eternal being. You're eternal. So when the New Testament tries to sell you on eternal life, you should be able to fire back to them and say, I'm eternal already. I don't need that. I'm eternal already. Here's the proof. Here's the evidence found in Yashayahu chapter number 44. Thus saith Yahweh, Israel's king and redeemer, Yahweh Zavaoth, I am the first and I am the future. They have there in the in English, they had there, I'm the first and I'm the last. If you go look up that word olam, it talks about your future. He's not your past. He's not the last. He's the future. Besides me, there is no power of powers. And he asks a question, who's like me? Then he says something interesting. Let him proclaim. Let him Wayikra. Let him call out. Let him show me clearly what has been happening since I set up the eternal people, the people of Olam. Let him foretell future signs and events. So what is the Most High telling us? He's eternal. You're eternal. Eternal here in Hebrew is called Olam. Olam. Not like your Ola. He is Olah. Olam is future. That is eternal. You are an eternal people. You understand? So Most High asked the question, who's like me? Who's like me? And then he says something about us. He says, since I set up the eternal people. He's talking about Yisrael. Let him foretell future signs and events. So the proclamation right here is Yah saying the difference between me and everyone else is this. I'm going to proclaim to you what's going to happen in signs, and I'm going to tell you about the future signs, and I'm going to tell you about future events. That's how you should know that I'm your Elohim. If I told you something, you will verify by it happening. You would know that it's me because when it happens, you'll say, that's Yahweh. When you see fire, you know it's me. When you hear a voice coming out of heaven, you know it's me. It's not me when some man shows up and said he was born of a virgin. It's not me when you said he was born of a woman. It's not me getting nailed to the cross. It's not me that tells you to eat my body and drink my blood. It's not me who takes off my clothes and wash everybody when I'm butt naked. It's not me when a whore anoints me. No, it's not me. I would never accept the anointing of a prostitute and you say it's me. It's not me when someone tells you to hate your mother and your father and your brother and your sister, otherwise you can't be my disciple. It's not me that says there's signs that you can drink poison and be bitten by a rattlesnake and therefore you'll be able to be healed. That's not Yah. That's not Yah. The New Testament is not Yah. The writings of anonymous authors is not Yahweh. The people in the New Testament are not eternal people. They are the Greeks and the Romans who have written a book who are known to be the enemies of Israel. You are an eternal people. And that is from the one who says, who is like me. That's Yahweh speaking. That's your king that said this. That is your redeemer who says this. This is the one who's coming in battle formation. When he says Yahweh Zavaoth, he says he's ready. I'm at battle formation. I'm ready to come and show you that there is no other power of powers. This is what this is about in chapter number 44. This is the proclamation. This is the Wayikra. This is him proclaiming who he is. This is him saying, you have been my witnesses. Who's like me? Ain't nobody open the sea for Israel but the Most High. But Yisrael, saved by Yahweh, with what? A temporary salvation? By what, 2,500 years ago, someone dying on the cross? No. With an everlasting salvation. It is in the writings and the scrolls that are in the heavens that you and I are to be eternally saved by the Most High. You will never, ever, ever be ashamed or disgraced. Why? Because you belong to the Most High. That's why. Because you're his servant. That's why. Because he chose you. That's why. You're not going to be ashamed. You ain't going to be picking up your firstborn and putting them and burying them like Egypt. That's not you. You're not going to be disgraced when the Most High takes all the strength from your nation. That's not you. You're not going to be burned up completely like the nations. That's not you. You're not going to die when you hear his voice. That's not you. They will. Because how can any other people have heard the voice of Yahweh remain alive as we have today and yet stay alive? Only you, Israel. Yahweh is your Mashiach. He's your Mashiach. He's the one who's saving us. Assemble. Come together, you refugees from the nations. Those carrying their wooden idols are ignorant. They pray to a God that cannot save. Let them stand and present their case, and indeed let them take counsel together. Who foretold this long ago? Who foretold this long ago? Announced it, proclaimed Vayikra in the times gone by. Wasn't it I, Yahweh? Yahweh has proclaimed it. There is no other Elohim besides me, a just El and Savior. There is none besides me. There's nobody. Nobody besides the Most High. The Most High declares to all the peoples, he says, look to me. That is a command. Look to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth. For I am El, and there is no other. In the name of myself, I have sworn, from my mouth has rightly gone out a word that will not return to me. Every knee will bow and every tongue will swear about me, that only in Yahweh are justice and strength. See, all who rage against him will come to be ashamed, but all the descendants of Israel will find justice and glory in Yahweh. That word, in terms of justice, they're going to find that which is upright, and they're going to find beauty in Yahweh when the Most High comes and he declares that he is the Savior and the salvation of Israel. You and I have to have an expectation because the Most High has one. He wants us to be in anticipation about what he is going to do. You and I, the Most High said, I did not talk to you in secret. I have not spoken in a dark place and have not made it known to my people about what I'm going to do. No eye or no one has ever heard, and no ear perceived. No eye has seen any Elohim but you. You work for him who waits for you. You and I have to have an expectation of waiting for Yah. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged because you don't have the offerings that are listed in chapters 1 through 5. Yah has disclosed to us what they meant and what he's looking for. David has made it known to us. The Most High is pleased with us when we have our open ears and when we're listening to him. Let's wait for the Most High. Yah's going to work for you and I. When it talks about no eyes ever heard, no one has ever heard, and no ears ever perceived, no eyes ever seen, any Elohim but you, he's not talking about Yisrael. In that context, in chapter number 64, he's talking to everybody else except for Yisrael. Israel heard Most High talking from Har Sinai. Israel seen the fire. No one else. They're letting them know nobody else but you. There's nobody Elohim but you. And so you and I need to wait for that. And we need to be in the expectation of that. Because the Most High tells us through Yahweh the prophet, you favor those who are glad to do justice. You favor those who are willing to walk uprightly before you. Right? The Yasharim. You're glad, you're happy with those who remembered you. Huh? So it's about Zakar. That's what it's about. They remembered you in your ways. When you were angry, we kept sinning. But if we keep your ancient ways, we will be saved. That word ancient right there is connected directly to who we are. And it's called Olam, which means that it has to do with eternity. Yah's ways are eternal. They're not ancient people, they're eternal ways. You and I are an eternal people. This is the reason why you and I have to stay on the correct path. Now, we will make errors, shagagas, but the Most High says you're guilty, and I'll make sure that I'll show pity and mercy to you and bring it to you and forgive you. That's what he says in the book of Isaiah. I'm the one who blots out all your transgressions and sins. You don't even need an offering. All you need is a willingness to turn back to me. But you who remember me. So the Most High is counting your zakar. When Yah talks about remember me, when you remember, we remembered you. Well, how do we remember the Most High? Well, how do we zakar the Most High? Oh, that's right. We are going to remember Egypt. Oh, that's right. We're going to remember Pesach. Oh, that's right. We're going to remember the festivals. That's right. We're going to remember the Shabbat. That's right. We're going to remember the diet. That's right. We're going to remember the Torah. That's right. We're going to remember the judgments. That's right. We're going to remember the Moedims. That's right. That's right. We're going to remember what he's really looking for. We're going to be different than our ancestors. Do you not know our ancestors, why they were in the land? They failed to keep the Pesach until a certain time when Ezra came back. So our people are going around saying, well, you know, while you're in exile, you can't keep Pesach. No, you can remember it. You can zakar, remember. You can remember what happened in Egypt. You can remember that. You can. There's nothing wrong with that. You and I have a different type of mindset. They were in the East and they forgot Yah. They were in the Eastern mindset and they forgot him. You and I are in a Western mindset and changing back to the East, and you and I are remembering Yah. That's all he's asking, is that you remember me. I don't want you to forget me, because if you forget me, you forget my ways, you forget what I've done, you forget my power, you'll forget what I'm about to do, and therefore you'll be living a life with no expectations and no hope. And you won't be living in anticipation of my return to come and get you, to identify you as my people. But we will be saved by our Mashiach, our Hamashiach. We'll be saved by the ultimate Mashiach, which is Yahweh. If we return to Yah, if we keep and we guard Yahweh's eternal ways. Yahweh says this in conclusion. This is after he has came back to get us. This is what he tells the heavens to do, which, by the way, again, is recorded in the scrolls and the Shamayim. Sing, you heavens, for Yahweh has done it. Done what? Come to get my people. Shout, you depths of the earth, you mountains, break out into song along with every tree in the forest, for Yahweh has redeemed Yaakov, and he glorifies himself in Israel, because that was Yah's intention. That is the expectation. You have been chosen to be glorified. Yah is going to use you to be glorified in your life. Yah is going to use you to show the nations that I am merciful. Yah is going to use you in order to let the nations know these are my people. Yah is going to use you and I to show his power, to show his magnificence and his splendor. He's going to use you and I. Oh, praise be to Yahweh. This is enough
for us to shout and for us to sing in anticipation about what the Most High has done. I'm going to leave you with these words. Yahweh Anawa Koani Anawa, which is to say Yahweh is gentle. So I'm gentle. You and I need to be gentle. When Yah says that he's merciful and he's compassionate, and when he declares his name to us in Exodus chapter number 34, verse number 6, he tells us that he's merciful and he's compassionate. Yahweh is very, very gentle and he's very, very kind. And because of his kindness, he's coming to retrieve us. He doesn't have to, but because who he is, that's what's demanded of his name. That's why he gave us his name, so he could be merciful to us. So Yahweh, Anawa. See that? Yana Anawa. If you go say that part, Yana Anawa, write it down. The next one is Koani. Koani Anawa. So I'm gentle. You see? Yahweh's gentle. You need to be gentle. I need to be gentle. And when we're talking to people that are broken, confused, deceived, blind, deaf, dumb, we need to be gentle. We need to be gentle. I had an experience where I learned to be gentle. And there's other times when I'm not. But there's times when you need to be gentle. I'm not saying be passive and let people take advantage of you. That's not what this is about. This is not trying to appeal to, our softer nature to say, well, this is how we need to be all the time. No. What we're saying is when this is appropriate, right? We have to learn when to be gentle. Okay? So Yahweh Anawa. Koani Anawa. We need to be gentle. I need to be gentle. And we had a young man yesterday on TikTok, got on there. There's a lot of aggression going on. People are having a conversation. He's getting upset. Everybody else is getting upset. And he even got upset at me. And I wanted him to know what I was, saying to him. So I had to become gentle and I had to, back down a little bit and, let him know that it's okay to feel the way you feel. I'm here to answer your questions. So I had to become more gentle and I had to be more of a listener than someone just talking. So by me doing that, at the end of the conversation, the young man finally discovered that what was written in the New Testament was not true. He came to that realization. And the reason why he came to that, because there was no hostility in my conversation. And I learned from that. So the Most High wants us to be more gentle. So this week, or starting tomorrow, depending where you are, Kagmatso, get rid of the cruelty, which is the kamates and the saor in your house. Get rid of the leaven. We've talked about what it means and the harshness, okay? We have to remove that. And by us doing that, we take on some of the attributes of the Most High because we're an eternal people. And this is the way that's how we're supposed to behave at the times that we're supposed to. So we have our Torah, our Haftarah, and our Tehillim, which is your meditation. Your Torah for this week is going to be in Vayikra again. Leviticus chapter number 6, verse number 1 through chapter number 8 to verse number 36. Special reading. It's only 2 chapters, okay? Your Haftarah, and if you need me to go back, I'm sorry for going fast. Okay, so write that down. Leviticus chapter number 6, verse number 1, all the way to chapter number 8, verse number 36. Your Haftarah this upcoming week is going to be Yirmiyahu. It's one of the prophets, chapter number 7, verse number 21 to chapter number 8, verse number 3. And then you're also going to read chapters number 9, verses 22 to 24. There's something in those 2 verses that connect to the Torah along with that, which is in chapter number 7. So try to find your connection. Get your theme. And if you need me to bring it back up on the screen, I will. All right, so the Tehillim is your meditation and found in the book of Psalms, chapter number 44 to chapter number 76. Psalms, meditation, chapters 44 to 76. Haftarah, Jeremiah, 7:21 to 8:3, and chapter number 9, 22 through 24. And your Torah, again, is Wayikra. Leviticus chapter number 6, verse number 1 to chapter number 8, verse number 36. Does anyone have any questions?